all week we've been talking about the president's threats to take over D.C. Now it appears he's starting to make good on some of that threat.
Yeah, last night the White House announced an increase in federal law enforcement on the streets of D.C. That took effect at 12 a.m. today. Candace Cole outside the D.C. Armory with details on what actions the Trump administration is taking in D.C. and why. Candace, that's what a lot of folks are asking this morning. Why are they doing this?
Good morning. So this is part of a 7-day trial put on by the White House. It says to protect innocent citizens from violent crime here in the district. It is a massive undertaking across 15 agencies that are being led by the U.S. Park Police and also include our local MPD here. So this is all happening just a day after the president floated the possibility of taking over the police department, which D.C.'s home rule does allow for on a temporary basis. The move by Trump comes almost a week after a former DOJ staffer was allegedly beaten up during a botched carjacking last weekend by a group of teenagers, after which the president called again for a federal takeover of D.C. and for minors as young as 14 years old to be tried as adults. Now, Trump has repeatedly railed against city leadership for being too weak on crime, but his criticism comes as D.C. is experiencing a 30-year low in crime with a 35% drop overall and violent crime being down 26%. That's according to data from MPD. Now here's Trump's newly confirmed U.S. Attorney for D.C., Jeanine Pirro, weighing in. Take a listen.
We're seeing far too much crime being committed by young people, 14, 15, 16, 17 years old. They need to be held accountable. D.C. Council has to repeal some of these absurd ordinances and laws that they've had passed that do nothing to protect the people of this city and of this district.
Now, D.C.'s Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton did not mince words. She says even if D.C. was not experiencing this historic drop in crime, that the president's comments are, one, misguided and also offensive to the district's 700,000 people. She says the real issue here is federal interference and used the opportunity to again call for D.C. statehood.
Hey, Candace, this is coming months after the president issued his executive order to establish making D.C. safe and beautiful. This is all part of his task force. Can you go into that a little bit?
Right. So the White House says that this action, the 7-day trial, is in lockstep with that executive order of increasing a federal police presence. But it also goes beyond that. One other component there is to maximize the enforcement of federal immigration law and policy here in D.C., which means we're likely to see an uptick in ICE arrests as well.
So not just the stepped up federal police presence in the district, we also understand the president is going after the homeless population in D.C. as well. Candace, what do you know?
Right. So we've heard that local elected officials here were put on notice that the White House and the city itself would be clearing out, evicting people from homeless encampments. We don't know at this point when that is supposed to take place or if it's already begun to happen. But we did hear from the National Homelessness Law Center that said that all of D.C.'s homeless shelters are currently filled to capacity. And they also said that quote, this authoritarian step made by the president does nothing to actually solve the homelessness problem, but it is exacerbating, limiting health care for D.C.'s residents, as once those folks are taken out of those homelessness encampments, they're going to be forced into hospitals. Corey, Hillary.
All right, Candace Cole live outside the D.C. Armory for us. Candace, thank you very much.